Good morning, y'all. This is Debbie Arnold with Dining with Debbie. Do you ever have a lot of leftovers at your house? With just the two of us, and I cook virtually every day, we do. But I don't like to waste food. It just really goes against my grain. So I do try to come up with creative ways to use those leftovers rather than just raking them back out of the refrigerator. Well, sometimes we do that too. You do what you do. I made some navy beans the other day with ham in them. And so even though I have cut back considerably on the amount that I cook, we still had leftovers. Well, I'm not going to throw those away, and we don't really want to eat them as beans again. So what I thought I'd do today is I would make just a really quick, what I call leftover navy bean soup. And I know you can start from scratch and make one that's really, really delicious. Well, this is an easy one using already cooked navy beans. You could use canned navy beans if you wanted to. Any kind of canned beans, really. And beans are so economical to use and available right now. Plus, they're high in protein, good meat substitute. You don't have to have any meat in here at all if you don't want it. This does have, like I said, ham in it when I cooked it the other day, Petit Jean ham, and I should let you know, I am a brand ambassador for Petit Jean meats, although this is not a paid promotion for them, but I do highly recommend them. That's an Arkansas company, and I love promoting Arkansas companies. All right, so I was digging around in the refrigerator to see what I had, and I do keep a lot of spices, sorry about the phone, in my freezer. They just stay longer for me. I'm using some cumin seeds in this just to kind of kick up the flavor a little bit, probably about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to put those in. I'm using my Instant Pot because I've got a really busy day today. I'm going to be out in the garden. I've got things to do, errands to do, and pantries to clean out. You know, it's one of those. And my husband has a really busy schedule today, so I don't know what time for sure he'll be home for lunch. So I'll make this up, and it'll be ready for us whenever we get ready. And I actually have some leftover cornbread in the freezer that I will get out, and we will have that with this. So anyway, I'm taking these cumin seeds, and I am putting them into the Instant Pot on saute. You could do this in just a pot on the stove. I used some of that garlic-infused olive oil that we made the other day to put into the bottom of the pot. And I'll be toasting those cumin seeds just a little. It always improves the flavor when you do that. A lot of times your spices are really, really much better if you will toast them slightly before using them. Not necessarily in all baked goods, but you'll know in your soups and stews and sauces and that kind of thing. I highly recommend that. Just do it lightly. All right, so they're sauteing nicely. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add in some carrots. I did finally chop up 1 carrot because I wanted a little bit more of some vegetables in here. I didn't have any left over, and I didn't really want to use frozen mixed vegetables, you know, from the freezer. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in there, and they'll saute along with those cumin seeds, and they'll be nicely done by the time, you know, lunchtime rolls around. Let those just saute for a little bit. Another thing that I'm going to add is about 1/2 of a package of this Pick Sweet seasoning blend. Y'all, I use this stuff all the time. Keep it in my freezer, by the bags full. It's handy, it's quick. Yes, I could stop and I could chop up all these vegetables on my own, but some days are just busy, and some days you need a little extra help. I'm all for that. Pick Sweet seasoning blend, it's not a paid promotion for them, but if they don't know by now that I love this product, then they should. Anyway, so we are sauteing our carrots. I'm going to add in about 1/2 bag of this. I've also chopped in a clove of garlic, and you've seen me do that before. One thing I like to do with my beans, navy beans especially, is I do like to mash some of them up. Sometimes I'll use my immersion blender, but I don't want this just to be creamy soup. I want this to still have some character to it and some texture. So I'm just going to take my fork and I'm just going to mash up some of those beans. Now, of course, the other day when I made these, I seasoned them at that time. So there's not a lot of seasoning that I will be putting into this soup. I'll taste it after a while, see how it goes, and see if it needs anything else added to it. but most likely certainly won't add any more salt. And I may add some pepper, may add a little extra boost, maybe from a little cayenne or some chipotle pepper. We like it with just a little bit of kick. So you're going to mash up quite a few of those beans, but leave a bunch of them whole so that you have that texture. We eat lots of soups. And even in the summertime, we'll have soup. But in the wintertime, fall and wintertime, oh my gosh, we have at least 1 to 2 nights a week that we have some kind of soup going on, or stew or something like that. It's just heartwarming and tummy warming, isn't it? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your gardens are plentiful, or that you're being able to make it to the farmer's market, and that you are able to put aside some food for this coming fall and winter, if that's your thing. My freezer is packed right now, but honestly, it was getting pretty full prior to the quarantine. But I did purchase some extra meat and things like that to have on hand. And I keep a lot of stuff in my freezer that a lot of people don't, like extra flowers and that kind of thing. Lots of fruit in there, frozen fruit that I'll have and use for different things. I'm fortunate. That freezer, honestly, y'all, it's got to be at least 40 years old. And I just bless it every day that it just keeps on kicking. I've looked to buy a larger one. You cannot find a freezer. I have a chest freezer, and that's what I prefer. You can't find one. I mean, it's in there with canning jars and maybe even toilet paper now. I don't know. All those kinds of things. But we're going to make it just fine. And I hope you are too. And, you know, I'm blessed. I can feed my family. We can feed our family. We're not hurting. And I know so many of you are, and I really do pray for that. Okay? All right, so here we are. We've got our carrots going here. I'm going to add in about a half a package of this seasoning blend. That's onions and peppers and celery, just enough for the amount of beans that I have for this soup. And I'll let that simmer for just a little bit too. I'd like to know, what are some of your favorite ways to use up leftovers? I mean, we all know cold meatloaf sandwiches are great. Certainly, we do that at our house a lot. I use a ham when I'm doing grilled cheese and ham, or quesadillas of that kind, or stir-fried rice and ham. That's always good. KG Meats, by the way, has a lot of really good recipes on its website. If you want to go check those out. Some of them are mine. So if you see one and you want to ask me about it, just let me know and I'll tell you about it. It is a pleasure to work with them. Like I said, I started to use some summer sausage in there, but then I remembered I had all this bacon, so I'm going to use that bacon. But I won't add it in now because it'll get kind of soggy. I'll use it to garnish. Another good thing that you can use to garnish this soup is pancetta. And I do have some pancetta left over, but I'll use it for something else and use the bacon for this. But I would, if I were using the pancetta, I would strip it into small strips, fry it up, and just crisp it up, and then sprinkle it over the top as a garnish. And don't forget to garnish your food. I mean, it doesn't take just a little extra effort, and it makes it pleasing to the eye, and it adds flavor as well. You've heard me say before, we eat with our eyes first. Okay, so those have sauteed a little bit. And I'm going to add in that clove of garlic. And you know you want to watch the garlic because garlic will burn. So I'm going to keep that stirred. And what I will do is I will put the beans in and just put them on a slow cook function on the Instant Pot and let them sit all morning. If they need to heat up faster, then I can turn them up a little higher. You can do the same thing by putting a pot on the stove. You can take that pot that you blended everything up in, put it in your oven, set it on 300 or 350 degrees, and let it stay there for a little while. I would keep a watch on it, certainly, because you don't know how the liquid's going to evaporate or whatever. But because this is an Instant Pot, I'm not using the pressure cooking function. Don't try to say that. That's not easy. Anyway, I'm going to use my glass top lid for that. This is one of those little 3-quart Instant Pots. I use it all the time. I thought it was kind of an indulgence when I bought it, but I bought it primarily to hard-boil eggs because it's a miracle working with that. But I use it for us like corn on the cob. Oh my gosh, it's so good that way. Anyway, that's a lesson for another day, isn't it? How many of you are using your Instant Pots? If you've not, let yourself use it. If you're afraid of it, no, there's nothing to be afraid of. Don't. I mean, use that. And if you have any questions about it, let me know. Send me a message, and I'll try to help you with that. Okay, so we're good to go here. I'm going to add in those beans and all their juice. And we're going to have navy bean soup for lunch today. Really good. It smells good, y'all. It really does. And I won't tell you, but, well, I'm guilty pleasure. I had some egg custard pie for breakfast this morning. I know, but it was eggs. You know, I justified it. Sometimes you just do that, don't you? And now I need to go walk an extra 2 or 3 miles, don't I? All right. So there's our soup. It's all done. It's good and healthy. Lots of protein. We got those veggies in there that are going to add to that nutritional value. I'll serve this soup up with some cornbread today at lunch, and we'll be satisfied, we'll be full, and we'll be thankful that we have this going for our lunch today. Let me know how you use your leftovers and give me some good ideas. I'm always open and willing to learn. I thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a blessed day. Please come again soon.